Hey there, it's Pijal, and we are back with one of our amazing clients, Gina Gardner. She's actually based in the UK, and I'm going to be basically asking Gina about her experience of working with us. And first of all, Gina, what is it that you do?
My work is all around empowerment, both personal empowerment and leadership, enlightened conscious leadership. So I write, I speak, I do coaching, masterminds, the whole range. Always at the heart of it is around empowerment.
And so, Gina, how did we cross paths? And were you actually looking for a VA at the time we met, or has it been a thought for a while? So, what kind of made you, or what kind of led you to making a decision to work with us?
It was a culmination of several different things, as often is the case when you make a decision. I was drowning under the need to do social media, not my favourite thing to do. And so I needed some help. I was also working with dual living at the time, and you came very well recommended through her. And so I made the decision that I was going to explore that. I liked what I found. I liked the the whole ethos of your organisation, the fact that you looked after your VAs, that they had training, that there was money put in the kitty so that whatever your clients did, if they disappeared without paying, that your VA still got paid. And I liked that, so I came on board.
Wonderful. Now, before you hire the VA, do you have a clear idea of what you wanted them to do?
I have a pretty clear idea. Interestingly, it's evolved over the time I've had the VA, but in the first instance, I was quite clear about what I wanted to do. And I was also very clear about the sort of person I wanted to work with.
Great. Now, the VAs come on board. What are some of the challenges you have to overcome? Obviously, we do our best to train the VAs to select the right VA, but I always tell clients that look, there's still a learning process. There's still an onboarding process, not just with VAs. I think any employee you ever hire. But so, what are the things that you particularly discovered during your relationship with this VA?
Helping them, if you're working with somebody and they're in the same geographical space and the same time zone, particularly if you employ someone and they are physically where you are, and I've run a large organization for 20 years, there's the opportunity to drip feed, that they learn the culture and they learn what you're doing. Yes, there's a whole induction program that starts with the advert and then the interview and then the induction and ongoing training. So it's a bit different when somebody's remote in that you've got to find a way of engaging with them and communicating effectively. But there may be a big gap between when you speak and when you next speak. It's not this drip feed. And so you don't want to overwhelm them. You want them to understand the business and also what you want from them. But at the same time, there is this time lag because of the very nature that they're virtual. So I think being very organized from the outset in terms of what you want to do. And so the way I managed it is I said to my VA for the first week, for example, I'm not going to give you a job to do. Go and look up my website, my YouTube, my social media. Go and have a look and a sense of who I am and my style and what I'm trying to do. And then let's talk about how you're going to fit in. And then I started with small tasks and we built those up over a period of probably about 6 weeks till she took over the full amount of what I wanted her to do.
Right. And you talked earlier about the roles expanded. So what else? Well, you started with kind of social media. What else is she now helping you with?
The work is still around social media. To start with, I fed her everything, said, these are the posts, this is when I want you to post them. She was actually, to start with, acting as a scheduler. Now she'll create posts from materials on YouTube, from previous articles from my website. I'll feed her information and she will create the posts. She's very able, and so she'll now say, what about? Have you thought about? Would this work for you? So the relationship has very much changed from one where it is, I simply tell her what I want to do, to one where I feel that she's now part of a very active part of my team, and that she's a very bright lady who has had your training and has got her own education and experience, that she's now bringing that to bear to help me.
And that's one thing we always tell clients is that we always say start off with if you start off with the I'm going to give you exactly what I need to do, and let them evolve into the role, let them grow into the role. Because if I start with saying, hey, your VA can manage it for you and they can do this, then it takes the onus of the entrepreneur to basically provide the support that I believe every VA needs, no whether they're a junior level VA or even a senior level VA with over a decade of experience. I always start with let me bring you into my business. I'm going to show you what I want, and then let them start taking ownership of that role to the point they are now advising on, hey, I was watching this video and I think maybe we can get a better result if we do X. But we have to give them the opportunity to gain the confidence to work with us. And sometimes a lot of VAs are timid. They come from a different culture. They're used to being told what to do. And we've got to give them that space to grow into our team more than just being a implementer or a doer. But it can take time. It can take sometimes a couple of months. It can take 6 months. But when it does happen, it's magical because now you really feel like you've got a team member that cares about your business as much as we start to care about our business as well.
I think that's really true, but I think there are a couple of things to add to that. If you were employing somebody directly, and I do a lot of work around leadership and helping people get the best out of their team, if you suddenly just dump the whole lot on a new person or a person in a new role, because it doesn't necessarily mean that they're new to your business. Good practice is that you give them the tools and the confidence to succeed, and that there are going to be learning opportunities and things that don't work. But you don't want to set people up to fail, nor do you want to set yourself up to fail. And I think if you just, it's the difference between effective delegation and just dumping. And I think when you dump, you actually reap the reward of that, and it tends to be pretty negative for all parties. But the other thing for me, and perhaps because of the sort of business that I've got, the culture of my business is really important. And the voice that I use, I want it to be consistent and in line with my values and my culture. You can't expect somebody to know that just because they looked at your website or they've read a few posts. That's very much a learning curve, I think. And one of the lovely things about my VA, Liz, is that she gets it. She now understands what I'm trying to do. What's been lovely is that she said she's learned herself in terms of her own personal development from reading the materials and being engaged in. And it's a two-way process, and I trust her, and I think she trusts me, and we respect one another. And I will go to her for advice and say, what do you think of this? I don't want to be the best girl in the class. I want to have the best people. My job is to manage them and to have the vision and to orchestrate it. But I don't want to have somebody who isn't better than me at whatever it is. I want them to be better than me at it and to help me make my business better.
That's great. Thank you. Let's talk about impact. Ultimately, at the end of the day, when we hire a team member, there has to be a ultimate impact on the business. How do you encapsulate the impact that hiring a VA has had on your business?
I feel as if a huge weight's been lifted off my shoulders. I think that's the biggest impact. I feel the time that I used to spend doing social media with other things. I've got a radio show. I'm a very busy lady. I'm a vice president of a big charity. But what it has meant is that I know that if I ask Liz to do, she's got her normal sort of run of things that she does. We agreed the timetable of what sort of posts and the theme. I know it's going to be done, and I know it's going to be done well. She'll make comments. When I look at them, I know that they're in my voice. So she's going on to LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram, that she is now so in tune with what I'm doing that nobody would know it was not me putting those comments in. Yes, it's release time. In fact, I've used it to do more work. That's my choice. But for anybody, if you do it well, it'll relieve time, it'll relieve stress. I think the quality of post is better because a capacity to use Canva and all of those things is much better than mine. And ultimately, what I'm presenting to the world was always pretty good, but I think it's now got an even better edge.
Right, awesome. Okay, if you had to encapsulate your experience working with us, working with VA, impact, everything you can think of in a 60-second soundbite, how would you frame it?
instead of taking a leap of faith where you're trying to find somebody, needle in a haystack, what your organization does is it matches people and help in terms of the interviewing and finding the right person was invaluable. The fact that you train them, they come as a package ready for you to just shape rather than having to do it. And I had used a VA before, and ultimately it was quicker to do it myself, so I stopped using them. That's not the case with you. It's very much a huge resource for my business.
Gina, again, thank you so much for taking some time out and sharing your case study with us. Obviously, this is for our new book, Delegate or Drown. So if you're reading this, think about what Gina shared in terms of its relevancy to you. And if you're watching this, hopefully you've got some takeaways from here to help you improve your hiring process. You're thinking about how to work with a VA, what a VA can do, and some of the ground rules that we believe will set you up for success when you choose to hire a VA or bring a VA into your company. Gina, again, thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure.
Thank